Today I thought I would make a video about learning lines. This is my script for Hunter Grail, and I figured that I would like to memorize the whole thing and have that out of the way. It's one less thing I have to be concerned with before we get greenlit to shoot. So I've just been working an hour here and there going over lines for Hunter. And as I was thinking about it, I thought, you know what? This is kind of an interesting topic because when you learn lines, there's certain ways that really can make it easier. And in my acting class several years ago, a lady came to the class and she was an actress on Deadwood, and she said, this will change your life as far as memorizing lines. And she was exactly right. For someone who doesn't know, when they look at it, it's like code to someone, but it's actually very cool. What you do is you convert each sentence into letters. So the first letter of each word, you write it out. For instance, this line is, you always go on like that, all mealy mouth. And you would write out you, and you would write down Y for you, always A, go, G, on, O, like, L, that, T. So you always go on like that, and then A for all, and then mealy mouth. And what I also do is I circle, this is kind of my own thing, certain power words or accents that I would normally, how I speak, the cadence of how I speak, I would push on a little bit. But I don't go too crazy with that at first. When I'm first going through this and learning each word, I do it flatly with nothing on it, meaning no accents, no emotion behind it. It's just flat. I'm going to my code here, and I'm reading, you always go on like that, all mealy mouth. And you always go on like that, all mealy mouth. So that's reading basically the code or the first letter of each word in the whole line. So it's almost like your brain connects all the rest, and then it's easier later when you're speaking the words, you always go on like that, all mealy mouth. So again, I'll just go through this. You always go on like that, all mealy mouth. Where's my sister Anne? I've got at least one idea where he might be headed. Obviously, I'm not reading to myself the other lines. There's lines in between those of someone else. Get your diction down too, because that's also important. If you get your diction down in the flat tone, then as you put emotion behind it, that diction is important for the audience to understand as well, unless there's a certain reason that you're choosing not to. This is where it gets very, very personal. It took me a long time to realize in my acting career a place where you're speaking your lines from your heart and from your spirit. When I first came to Los Angeles, I just was doing lines the way I thought the director or the audience would want me to read them, and that results in it not being real at all. So what makes it real in truth is that it comes from you personally. You always go on like that, all mealy mouthed, is something that Hunter says to Bill. Bill is this kid that brought Hunter back to life, and okay, that's a very supernatural thing, and I have to come up with something similar that would imply, here's someone who I have zero trust in, but he has power over me in some way. Who is someone that I do not trust? And I would write that person in the in the margins here and write out what that experience was to me. But I still needed answers from them. I needed their help. What could that be? I had a friend who once, I was slipping off of a rock and he grabbed my wrist and pulled me up. So that's one instance. I can write down that guy's name and replace the face with someone who might let go of me, you know? Sometimes you have to go to places that takes a while to get out of. When we shot the first part of Hunter Grail, I had to find moments in my life that paralleled places where I was not, I didn't like myself. And you go there, and that is extremely painful experience, and that's what helped me to embody someone who is suicidal. So this next line, where's my sister Anne? So that line obviously can be read so many different ways. You could read it comedically if you wanted to, but of course in this, the most important thing is to stay true and raw, and in that vein of being truthful. Hunter hates himself, and the only thing that he loves, and one last hope in life, is this connection to Anne, his sister. So when he says, where's my sister Anne, I will substitute that person with a family member. And if something were to happen to that family member, what place would I go to? Say she was taken by someone, what would I do to that other person? Especially if they did something horrifying, right? So that is the energy I have to bring to the character. And so I'll write in my little side notes the family member, or, a scene, a memory I had with that family member, and the love that we shared, and then I ripped that away. Okay, so that is the little video here on how to memorize lines. At least what's worked for me. There's a lot of ways to do it. A lot of people have different ways. But again, bridging all the words together with this code formula, and then finding moments in your own life that can parallel the characters that you are portraying.